What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode reviews for, it's episode reviews for Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. I think this is episode 4 and 5. Or was it 4 and 5? Or
I think this is 16 and 17.
yeah. With me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. So, now, of course, the battle uh, for the Soul Society still rages on. Where we last left off is pretty much the Soul Reapers getting overwhelmed due to the Stern Ritters taking advantage of the captain's Bankais. Uh, um, However, we do see the Soul Reapers turning things around. Um, when the Soul Reapers receive like this black pill, which simulates the effect of either a hollow or an Arankar.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess you'd say a holified Bankai. It sort of uses the Hollows or the Ronkar's resurrection. Um, and
Yeah.
because basically we at this conversation, there's a conversation between with Mayuri and
Mayuri and
Kisuke
Kisuke.
about how basically the Quincy's fear the Hollows because they're I guess in a way they're poison to the Quincy's, and that's why they want to exterminate them as opposed to like sort of purifying them as opposed like with what the Soul Reapers do. So they basically like have I guess implemented like hollow abilities with the Bankai, so that basically makes it so that the Quincy's are pretty vulnerable to get pretty easily taken down with that. But of course they in the beginning of the episode we actually see that Toshiro is in a pretty bad way because he's gotten beaten by Basby and then Kandu shows up to pretty much finish him off. We'd also see that Rangiku has been taken out, or at least it seems that way. But unfortunately, Toshiro can't really do anything at the moment until he gets the that black pill, and we see the other captains also get this same pill that Kisuke brings back from I guess Wakamundo. So that basically gives them all a fighting chance again because as we saw last time, they were pretty much on the verge of death. If not, it seemed like they might be even dead. But this basically makes it so that they can come back with. I guess really they say it's like a temporary. I don't know. It seems like they said like it's a temporary use Bankai. It's like hollow Bankai. It's only like you can only use it. It seems like temporarily. I guess.
Yeah. We also noticed that it also changes the appearance of their Bankais. Like for example, Toshiro's Bankai turns into a more hollowified version of Daiger and Hyomaru. Yeah, because you see like almost like one of those hollow whole size masks covering his parts of his face. So Toshiro manages to uses it to advantage to defeat Kang, and of course at the same time Soifun also uses it to her advantage to get back her Bankai, and I forgot what her Bankai was called. It was
some ridiculous name. I can't remember it. It's a giant missile.
So she used. Yeah, so she uses it against the Stern Ritter. I guess who she fought against, and just basically just fires just this one shot on this guy, and he immediately just. I guess he made. I think he was incapacitated too, just due to the fact that because he held the Bankai that he stole from Soifon. The hollow. I guess the influence of the hollow or Arankar effects incapacitated him for enough for a Soifon to use the missile to be used against him.
Yeah. And another big thing that happens in this episode is that we get to see Shinji's Bankai for the first time, which is something that not even apparently is even in the manga. So a lot of people are looking forward to that. And his Bankai is pretty weird. It's basically some kind of hypnosis that he's able to put people under suggestion and make them pretty much kill each other.
Yeah. I mean, we seen him use the Shikai version of this
Yeah,
during the Rankar arc or the fake Kuratown arc before. It's like it's yeah, it is based on like a hypnosis thing where it messes with your perception. Uh like thinking like you're going
it
backwards
kind
of
of reminds me a
sorts.
little bit of
However, his
Aizen's Shikai, where he I think he did something similar where he can fool people or make them see illusions.
Yeah. I mean, well, for Shinji's Bankai, you know, he just like you said, he uses it to advantage to force the other Quincy's to basically just turn against each other and kill each other as well. Um, and then soon after that, we I think there's also like another fight with I think it was the masked pro wrestler style Stern
I think his
Ritter.
name was Master
He
Mask or
faces
something like
up
that.
mask
Some
the
yeah,
masculine.
yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's what he's
based
called.
on his character design, I
Um,
figured he'd be a pretty ridiculous character. So I mean, which is it feels almost like he's sort of like a character from a JoJo or something with like his abilities and what he does.
yeah, so he fights off against Ikaku, Yumichika, and Hisagi. But due to the fact that that they don't really have much of a Bankai, they're barely holding their own against this
Mm.
guy by themselves. Then soon afterwards, at the same time, uh, we go back to Bambietta, who, of course, uh, throws away the medallion due to the fact that she no longer has, the Bankai that she stole from, what was it, from Komamura. And then, of course, and as I was saying, that Komamura ends up confronting her, of course, with his, I guess it's a more of an enhanced armor that we originally saw him in from the beginning of the
Mm.
series. Um, but before Komamura can end up fighting her, we see Shinji popping up again and deciding to use his Bankai against her, which at the time, he's able to use it to advantage to basically just keep Bambietta incapacitated in a
I should
massive
also point out
daze.
Momo tries to fight her too, but Komamura basically says that she should just fall back, pretty much.
Yeah, and of course, like Bambietta just tries to fight against it, but to no avail. But of course, she and alongside several other Stern Ritters gets a massive power boost from Yuhaba. Thanks to whatever I don't know
The Volster and
what
Dit
the name's
or
called.
something like that. Volster and Dit.
Yeah, so like her and and many other Stern Ritters get enhanced abilities, which of course she uses it very well against Shinji by just basically just blasting him over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
she has like wings, and she just throws pretty much like throws bombs at people.
Yeah, and of course it gets to the point where Komamura ends up intervening to fight against Bambietta, and of course Komamura ends up taking all of her shots to the point where we finally see his form underneath the mask, which is, I guess you could say, his human form.
Yeah, they kind of explained that his clan are became essentially werewolves after death. I guess because they were known as like the werewolf clan or something like that, um, and that they were, I guess, cursed with that form. Um, and of course, we found out that Komamura had to, in order to gain that human form, he had to tear his own heart out uh, in order to gain to gain that form, and and he pretty much says that he is determined to
Yeah,
do so
and
because of
and
his the debt, I guess, the debt he owes to the head captain, or again, Ryusai.
yeah, and of course, no matter how many times Bambietta tries to, just to lob bombs at Komamura, he just takes them every single time, and to the point where he uses his Bankai to basically just, oh yeah, Komamura, of course, just keeps taking Bambietta's shots over and over and over again to the point where he unleashes his Bankai against her and just basically just takes her down instantaneously.
Yeah. Uh, and he explains like the Bankai, he it has like this because he's gained this form now. He has this, I guess, temporary immortality, so he can't really die, which is pretty ridiculous. So, I mean, anything she throws at him, it won't kill him because she asked him
Yeah.
about like the
So
hole because he sees the hole in his chest where I guess he torn his heart out.
yeah, and then soon after that, Bambietta just beats herself up to the point where, like, she's pretty much like, just crying over the fact that, she's one of the first major Stern Raiders to get defeated by one of the Soul
Mm.
Reapers. And then of course her friends stand over her. Uh Supposedly they're about to do something to her that Bambietta is not looking forward to, you know, to I guess, going through. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing, but it seems like she's gonna suffer a fate worse than
Yeah, it kind of
death.
feels that way. Um, but of course now, like
Yeah.
after Komamura's used his Bankai against, has pretty much won the fight, that the head of his clan ends up eating his heart, or is still beating heart, and Komamura transforms back into, not his original werewolf form, but into that of a wolf, and it looks like he's possibly he could be dead. He laments the fact that he's pretty much just living at that point, or just trying to get revenge on Yuhaba. Um, and he's sort of ignoring the advice, I guess, that he had given in the past to um, the blind guy from Kaname.
Economy.
Um, and he laments that he's just kind of become, like, I guess in a way like him, that he's like just living for revenge.
Yeah. And of course, his lieutenant Iba finds Komamura and of course carries him on his back, promising that both him and Komamura are going to avenge Yamamoto by going after Yuhaba. But in terms of like his, their power level, I don't know if they're going to end up handling someone like Yuhaba at that state.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and we of course see like a lot of the Stern Ritter, or at least most of them have like, uh, they. I think after this, I think we see that. Um, I think it was the end of the episode. Like we see Ryu coming and like to do something to like Bambietta or like some of the other Stern Raiders, because he comes through like the portal. Uh,
Yeah, I think he meets up he appears in front of
yeah,
Kangdu, who's been defeated by Hitsugaya's Bankai. And then he does and Uryu does it again by going up against a Stern Ritter who was beaten by Soifun. So we don't know what Uryu was doing. I don't know if he's like going to kill them as punishment for their failures, or if he's gonna end up doing something under Yuhaba's orders, but we just don't know at this
yeah,
point.
and also at the same time we go back to the Hochwald uh, having or talking with um God, I forget the guy's name. With Shuhei, yeah, or yeah, not
Shinsui?
Shuhei, Shinsui, yeah.
Right.
Um, but
Yeah.
he pretty much reveals that he had the whole time he'd been gathering up energy to break down the barrier that they created, and but as soon as he breaks it down again, they create a new barrier because it's revealed that they were also, I guess, storing up energy to create another barrier. Um, but before anything can really happen, I guess he gets called back by Yawa or Yuhaba, and it's kind of like, and of course Shinsui says like, well, maybe you can come back and have tea sometime or something like that before he leaves. But that's kind of the extent of what happens there. Um, it seemed like there was going to be a fight, but there wasn't. I guess maybe that's going to happen later.
Yeah. And then we pick up with the fight with Mask and the other three guys trying to fight up against him, but of course they all get defeated until Captains Kensei and got the other guy's name. I can't pronounce it.
Mm,
Rugero, Captain Rugero.
I think so. Um,
Yeah, so they're about to go up against Mask, but that's where the episode ends. However, we do have a post credit scene.
yeah, technically we've had a
Well,
couple
both.
post credit scenes in these past two episodes, which is most pretty much just been Ichigo walking on the path towards the what I think is called the Torii Gate, um, and as he's walking on this path, he gets these visions, and I don't know what these visions are. I'm guessing maybe they're potentially memories of the Soul King or something. Uh,
Yeah, it eventually like the spiritual pressure, um, it really is starting to take its toll on Ichigo to the pot to the bar where the pretty much I guess you could say the power starts swelling up inside of him. Uh, but eventually Ichigo manages to push through it, to the point where he's able to reach Shutaro's
yeah,
palace by the end of the episode.
yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what other trials they put him through after he's just been. We've we've had a few. It feels like a few episodes. I mean, well, really, like the since the beginning of this core, Ichigo's just been like walking on this path. So I'm kind of waiting for Ichigo to actually do something at this point. It's been. I mean, I do like seeing the other captains, um, but I kind of want to get back to whatever what Ichigo's up to, or if he's going to help out in any way. But I guess they're saving that for whenever he's going to gain these new powers or any new abilities from what these trials he's being put through.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, based on the opening, we kind of get somewhat spoiled of where that's going to end up
Yeah,
leading up to. But that's most likely going to happen by the end of this core. But yeah, overall, the last two episodes have been pretty decent, showcasing just the overall struggles that the Soul Reapers are having to deal with against the Stern
yeah.
Raiders.
I thought yeah. I mean, this is just again just probably the best Bleach has ever looked. I mean, in terms of its production value, I'm just constantly in awe of like how good all the fight scenes look and everything. Especially like what they were doing with like Shinji's Ponkai. Um, and I mean, even though they use, of course, they use CG for Komamura's Ponkai, I still thought it looked pretty good for what it was. Um,
Yeah, I really like the whole dark
yeah,
atmosphere that they had, pretty much throughout, and like almost every single episode that they put out since its return. I mean, back in the original one, it was just like a lot of the coloring back from the original series is all was all bright, but here like they just display like this overall dark atmosphere, like ranging from a variety of different colors. Like for example, during the post credit scenes, it's like all dark and green, while in the Soul Society, it's like whole blood reddish like hue. During the whole fight between the Stern Raiders and Soul
yeah.
Reapers.
Supposedly that's because the director Taguchi likes to use environmental lighting a lot. Like, I guess if he's done that with his other
Hmm.
series, so he's doing that with Bleach, and I really feel like does definitely add a lot to different scenes. It makes them a lot more interesting to look at, as opposed to of course, the original series where, like you said, yeah, a lot of it was pretty bright, and there's not really a lot of there wasn't really like a lot of interesting like choices in terms of I guess the color palette or whatever. Um, but I like that they're doing that here. It definitely makes the series like pretty. I mean, it's really just a visual spectacle. I mean, and it's not even something you could get from reading the manga either. So yeah, I definitely like that about it. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about these two episodes. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what's gonna happen next. I mean, we are gonna have a obviously we're gonna get a continuation with the fight with Mask and the other two captains, but in terms of where they're gonna go with Ichigo and Uryu, it's we don't know where that's headed until until they get to
Mm.
that point. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy these last two
Yeah.
episodes.
So that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.